Hello and welcome in. It is your afternoon Bexpresso here on a hump day, Wednesday, with VAK hanging out with you on BNN. That's so many letters that I just threw at you. We are going to talk about the Western Conference Final. That is the WCF. The Eastern Conference Final, the ECF, MLB. Yeah, a little Major League Baseball, maybe even the NHL. Why not? We got a game in front of us tonight. What I'm going to do, V, just letting the chat know already. You can tell this is generally unprofessional. I want to just at least acknowledge this. I would not do this if not for the fact that I am so comfortable with you and with everybody out there watching and listening. I've got a cough drop in my mouth. That's why it sounds like I'm eating while I'm talking here. And I'm probably I ordered on Amazon this hefty old bag of I'm just going to be possibly pumping these throughout the show because I you know what it is? This is like your classic. I didn't do this, but I'm painting the picture. This is your like your classic WebMD. I'm going to self-diagnose kind of. I think what's going on really is like a pollen allergy, which is extreme in my neck of the woods right now.
Yeah.
And I absolutely fall victim to this. But I am treating this, non-illness related cough with cough drops, even though like that should have no impact, but I'm just trying to really soothe it is what it comes down to. I don't know if that's going to work, but I'm trying to know. We don't have commercial breaks here, V. I don't want to hack up a lung for the next hour that we're hanging out.
That's a great point, actually. We don't have commercial breaks. And even those of you who do get commercials, we don't get a break, right? We're going to keep going. But absolutely, yeah. Adam, you keep taking them down. Sometimes you just need something to soothe the throat. I just got over a sickness, I think it was a week and a half ago. And when you're coughing, man, it just feels like you might actually cough up a lung. Yeah. And it's never a good feeling.
Not only that, honestly, doing what we do, it's just kind of embarrassing. Just sort of like it. Like I get all in my head about it. I feel a way about it. And I don't like that. Then I got to deal with Stifler, settle down, cough, man, cough, COUGH. That like I haven't heard that all my life. So I got to deal with that for the next little bit too.
Hey, what's the other option, right? You don't show up on a Wednesday. Nobody wants just me on a hump day. I can tell you that. Nobody wants that.
Well, it's great to see you.
I hope you're feeling better.
Yeah, we got a lot to get to. I know you want to talk a little bit of NFL OTAs, some of the news to come out, including it is, here comes the farewell tour for Aaron Rodgers because he announced this will be his final season in the NFL. So can't wait for the weekly gifts that he receives as he visits different cities.
That's gonna be interesting.
Excuse me. That should be fun. But hey, let's begin with last night. We got to begin with last night because this was, the game ones in the NBA's semifinals have delivered, man. First, obviously, we get the nice comeback out of OKC, force overtime. Spurs, 7.5-point dogs, win outright. They take game one. Game two is tonight. Last night, MSG. I'll admit, I wasn't real big on the Cavs going into this series. I did not pay Cleveland maybe the due respect. And now I'm not going to do that again because up 22 with 7.5 minutes left, the Cavs imploded, fell apart. Barrage of threes for the Knicks obviously helped. Get to overtime. New York not only wins, covers the original number of 6.5, outscores them in overtime, I think 14-3, wins the game going away. I went from, oh my goodness, Cleveland maybe is live to win this series, which I realize technically Cavs still are. It was one game.
Yeah.
But in my head, this series is over. How do you blow a 22-point lead in a playoff game with 7.5 minutes left, nearly don't score in overtime, and psychologically recover from that? I know the Cavs have been a very resilient team this postseason, but that is tough to overcome.
I completely agree, Adam. That was one of the worst collapses. And as an avid Knicks hater, I had some tweets in the drafts I had to go and delete after that game. But that was an insane collapse, not only on the offense, but you had Mike Brown come in the post-game presser and talk about it extensively about how they not only targeted James Harden often in that second half, going at him again and again. Then on top of that, talking about how when he was with the Warriors and going up against him in the Western Conference Finals, what did they do? You make him dribble 1,000 times because then late in the game, he's gassed. And they're just laughing in their face too after they did it. I think it's an insane strategy. I do also think that Cavaliers have shown resolve. I know a lot of people that were calling for a sweep after game one against the Pistons. They did come in after the 7-game series with the Raptors. Did kind of get blown out in that game one, but the Cavaliers haven't been good on the road. And it kind of showed late in that game when they lost gas. What was even more heartbreaking was that Stan Miro 3 that nearly dropped, and we got the mic. Like, it was right there. And next thing you know, you lose by 11 in overtime in a game that you 100% should have won. Fresh off a 7-game series, Knicks were sitting there salivating. Their fans were salivating, and you had the entire Garden silent for about 3 quarters, about 85% of that game. A 99.1% win chance, I think, is what it got up to. If you're looking, if you're one of the math nerds. Sure. It was one of the most improbable wins or improbable losses, depending on how you're looking at it.
It was the biggest playoff win in Knicks history.
Yeah,
right? in terms of a comeback.
Knicks Twitter is ablaze right now with Jalen Brunson love, and honestly, like, that was the kind of game that ignites something. He was having a very mediocre game up until that third quarter, late in that fourth quarter. Finished with, I think, 38 points. He's second on the list of most points scored in the playoffs since 2020. If you want to go from that number, number one is on that list. This is our boy JT. Don't forget, respect. Yeah. But he's been good. The Knicks have been good, and I hate to say it because I hate the Knicks, but I think it's still going to be an interesting series with how this game went. I really thought the Knicks were going to take a stranglehold early in game one. The Cavs played much better than I thought they would, despite kind of sputtering there at the end. But you just need to be better, and Harden needs to be better, both offensively and defensively. It's one thing for him to be a defensive liability if he's at least giving you 20 and 10. You're not getting that from him anymore, and it's becoming a problem. Also, Adam, to ask you this, SPJ made this point on the timeline. In terms of defensive strategy, we can talk about the timeouts in a second and how Kenny Atkinson is still saving those for game two. But the lack of Dean Wade usage. Dean Wade was doing a phenomenal job on Jalen Brunson, both in that first half and just in games prior. A lot of people made that great read, and he cashed his PRA. But why would we move away from that in the second half? I understand maybe you need offense, but you're working with the lead, and you've taken your best defender of their best player off of the floor. I don't see the strategy in that.
Yeah, I think it's fair for sure. I just think, excuse me, from a coaching perspective, there were a number of things to criticize, most namely, obviously, the lack of timeout usage. But to me, in terms of the defense, like perimeter defense was the biggest issue down the stretch there for Cleveland, because the Knicks, who did not shoot that well from three at all, 31%, it just sort of felt like in the last 7 minutes and change, they couldn't miss. They were just timely 3-point. Landry Shamet went 3 for 3. Brunson, for all the things he did well, and he dropped almost 40, he only went 1 for 6 from 3-point range. Same with Anunoby, Hart, and Towns reached 1 for 5. So, I mean, it was really in terms of efficiency. It's Shamet, Mikal Bridges went 2 for 4, but these guys were just making them fall when they had to. Where I would push back a little bit, and I feel like I've kind of had to beat this drum more regularly, whoever I talk to, about the Cavaliers, because I think people still look at James Harden like the James Harden of old, or at least, or they're blurred by, excuse me, name recognition, like Donovan Mitchell, granted, a lot of it was front loaded, but he drops 29, efficient, 12 for 23 shooting, 4 of 11 from 3. Harden gives you 15 points, 5 of 16, plays 42 minutes. That's a high on his team, by the way. Now, he turned the ball over 6 times, had just, excuse me, three assists. This is going to be as painful for me as it is for all of you. 6 turnovers, 3 assists. Now, you want to tell me those 2 categories should be flipped at the very least. Much better. Maybe Harden gives you 6 or 7 dimes. The turnovers are, 2 or 3, and like you can live with that. I'm not going to crucify Harden for giving you 15 points. I don't need, maybe the Cavs do need, although when you've got Mobley, you got Allen, you got some Merrill, you got some other guys, Strus, that can shoot, can be role players, can give you some points to compliment Mitchell. Like, Mitchell's the guy that I need, fair or unfair. Best player, prime years, I need this guy to drop 30 plus on average in this series. And I know he was on the cusp last night. He was close. But this guy needs to carry his team. Harden's 36 years old. Like, Houston James Harden is a memory. Like, prolific Hall of Fame scorer James Harden he's not around anymore. It's the role players that need to stand tall here for Cleveland. Much the same, like, who on New York do you look at? It's not Cat. That, who do you look at and say, like, this guy has to give me 20 every night? It's one guy on each team that really needs to give you 25 or 30 every night. And then which role players jump in around that?
I completely agree with you, Adam. And if you look at like you said, a lot of his points were front loaded, and that becomes a problem. It's fantastic if you can score 26 points through 3 quarters, but what happens in that fourth quarter is often where legends are made, and that's exactly why we have this new award, the Clutch Player of the Year. D-Mitch, James Harden, and Evan Mobley went a combined 3 for 19 in the second half. In that third quarter and overtime period. 3 for 19 from your 3 best players. It's just unimaginable and something you cannot have. And obviously, they were coming off a tough-fought 7-game series where they finished it on the road, and now they're going on the road once again to New York. There's no excuse. When you were in that game and you were up 22 points, you need your best players to be your best players. And you're right, Adam. It starts with Donovan Mitchell. Jalen Brunson was exactly that. As soon as they made the defensive switch or he saw the court open up a little bit, he took advantage. A guy like Landry Shamet was huge in that fourth quarter. I think it's 5 threes made in that fourth quarter by guys like Mikal Bridges, Landry Shamet, and just these role guys. That's exactly what it came down to, and we need everybody to be better. And I think it starts with Donovan Mitchell. Despite what the stat line shows from game 1, 104 points is just not enough for this offense. And I do think that when he takes a little bit more of a facilitator role on, we've seen this Cavaliers offense be much better. He had 3 assists last night, and that becomes a problem when you're not involving your teammates because no one has a rhythm late in the game. If you look at the game 7 against the Pistons, 8 assists in that game. It's no surprise that they won it so significantly and by such a wide margin. I don't think he needs to stop or shoot less. I do think, though, that he needs to keep his head up a little bit and find teammates, especially when you play with 2 rim-running alley-oop threats in Evan Mobley and you have a ton of shooters around you. Like, Sam Merrill was great. Max Strus was pretty good in that game. You got what you wanted from everybody else. D-Mitch needed like 6 or 7 more points and they win that game.
So all that said, we look to tomorrow, game 2.
Yep.
Again, 6.5 point spread in favor of the home Knicks. Total 215.5. Now I will remind you, we got 219 in game 1, 202 in regulation. How do you feel about the side and total here?
It feels like a ton of points, but honestly, this might be one of those things where the Cavs need to go home and reset. And unfortunately, it might be down 2-0, and it might be after an uglier game. Like I said, 7 back-to-back series with 7 games. Both of those series, the second one ending on the road, now going on the road. They might just need their beds a little bit. They might need to get home, reset, have a practice in their facility, and then bounce back. But 6.5 with the Knicks, I don't know. I feel more comfortable, I guess, with tomorrow's spread than today's. We'll get to today's a little bit later, but I do think that the 6.5 is a little bit more suitable for the Knicks tomorrow than it is the Thunder tonight.
So you would lay 6.5 if forced to choose. Yeah. I'm not saying you're necessarily.
Yeah, I would lay 6.5 with the Knicks.
As opposed to 6.5 with the Cavs.
Yeah, you are.
No, I'm asking you as opposed to taking. 6.5. Yeah,
6.5 with the Knicks. I think that's exactly where I'm leaning.
Yeah.
What about you?
I would tend to agree. I probably, just given the nature of the way that I bet, will probably have a parlay of sorts that involves Knicks money line with some props as opposed to laying the 6.5, because I'm not going to be surprised if, Knicks win, but it's a 4-point game, that kind of thing. But yes, forced to choose a side, Knicks minus 6.5 is where I would go.
Yeah, I think so. They look like the better team in this series too.
All right. Well, we're going to talk about game 2 in the Western Conference Final a little bit later on. We'll build our show lay, all of that. But I know you want to get to some news around the NFL. What? Yeah, I see it, Sook. So what jumps out at you first?
Honestly, the one thing that stood out to me is the highest paid running back in the NFL this year, returning kicks at OTAs. Now, obviously, OTAs is as early as you can get. It's not even training camp. It's just OTAs. But what do you think of that? You use a top 5 pick on this guy. You've made him the highest paid running back despite never having played an NFL snap. The risk of injury to me alone here is insane. And I don't know why you would want your guy back there returning kicks. And as somebody who watched his number 1 overall pick with the Packers last year, Matthew Golden return kicks for a little bit, it's not a pretty sight when these guys that don't do it in college are returning kicks. And all of a sudden, and if you are not a guy that does that, I just think your injury risk is even greater out there. So what do you think? Jeremiah Love, highest paid running back, should he be returning kicks even at practice?
So if we in the regular season, or heaven forbid preseason games, see Jeremiah Love returning kicks, I'm with you. I think that is a crazy decision to have at any team, to have your your featured running back, your number 1 guy, let alone a rookie who, as you said, is the highest paid player at his position in the league, returning kicks. Absolutely. Now, May 20th in camp, where nobody's tackling anybody and nobody's wearing pads. I don't even know if they're in, shirts and shells. Might just be out there in t-shirts. And he's literally just catching balls, like this, as opposed to like this. I don't worry about that. If you almost got to go out of your way to get hurt doing that. So I'm not saying it can't happen. Freak things happen, but that kind of thing doesn't scare me off.
Not as much. I agree. I think so too. There's a couple more things from OTAs I want to ask you about. Yeah. One, Deshaun Watson. It's looking like he's taking first team reps with the Cleveland Browns, but today's practice, or today's whatever you want to call it, was not great. Interceptions on 7-on-7, and now reports are also coming out that head coach Todd Monken hasn't even met Myles Garrett yet. And this is coming from Cleveland Browns beat reporters that are at practice. So it just feels like an interesting thing for you to be at OTAs. And I mean, a new head coach would probably call their best player into the office some point in the offseason, even before this. So that seemed super odd to me. Starting with Deshaun and the QB situation, what do you think? And what do you think about the Todd Monken hiring in general? We haven't had a chance to talk about it.
Yeah, the Browns are a team that, obviously led by Myles Garrett, have a lot of talent on defense. The offense is lacking, certainly comparatively. You've got a couple of guys that are interesting in terms of skill position players, but nobody overly dynamic. We'll see what happens at the running back position, if there's any real development there. But I think what's the best way to term it? An unfortunate inevitability, I guess, is the way that I look at it in terms of Deshaun Watson being the starting quarterback. The only reason that would or is happening is because of what he's paid. Excuse me. His salary is egregious, but they're stuck, short of, again, cutting him. It's not like they can trade for him. So if you want to eat the dead cap just to get him out of there and eliminate the distraction, maybe that's a road they decide to travel if he is absolutely dreadful in the coming months. Stifler, how bad can Deshaun be? First team reps. Cleveland doesn't even have a first team. Fair. I would just like to see, and this is not me even saying that either of these guys is good or better than Watson, or call it what you want, but you have Shedeur Sanders, you have Dylan Gabriel, a couple of guys that you drafted, a year ago in, at what? I think Gabriel was 3rd round and Shedeur was 5th round, if I remember right. Yeah. You have a couple of guys that are in-house, that are recent draft picks, that at least you have to believe Deshaun Watson is not taking you anywhere. Like if the Cleveland Browns suddenly a playoff team, even if Deshaun Watson is good, not great, let's say he is perfectly average. Is he winning the division? Nope. So is he a wild card team? That's tough for me. I'd have to look at the schedule.
In that division.
What's that?
In that division, I feel like no. You got to play those teams.
I would have to take a look at here. Let's go through the exercise. Let's have some fun for a minute. I'm pulling up the Browns schedule. I'll read you the games. Now, I want you to answer win-loss. I'll do the same with the belief that Deshaun Watson is a perfectly average, mediocre quarterback. Not good, not bad, average NFL quarterback. Okay? Yep. Let's see if we can get them. And I'm looking at the schedule for the first time. Let's see if we can get the Browns to what? I mean, at minimum 9 wins to be a playoff team.
I think that's what it took last year.
Honestly, maybe 10 to be a wild card team.
Yeah, I think did somebody slip in with 9 last year from this division? Maybe.
Well, Pittsburgh.
That doesn't matter.
Pittsburgh won the division with a crummy record, but here I'll pull up last year's standings.
But I'm with you. I think that this is a mediocre team, and some part of me feels like this could be the Cleveland Browns having their like Gerard Mayo year, where they have a bad head coach because they're looking towards the draft. They are looking to just have a bad QB. There's no point in eating the dead cap if Deshaun's ready to play, right? You saw the Dolphins did it, but the Dolphins are trying to make changes right now. I think they brought in a new head coach. It looks to me like the Browns are maybe already looking to next year.
All right, so let me tell you, and Stifler says some Dr. V is going to be. He's not even trying to help Kaufman. So
hey, the cough drops work. They should, at least.
We'll see. Patriots, Bills, Steelers, Jaguars, Texans, Broncos, Chargers. Those were your AFC playoff teams at minimum 10 wins, and that was the Steelers as division champs. To be a wild card team last year, you needed 11 wins or better. Okay? So do we think this Cleveland team is going to win at least 10 games? Let's see. At Jacksonville.
That's an L.
That's an L. At Tampa.
L.
I'm inclined to agree. I'll just, for the hell of it, give them the benefit of the doubt. Let's say they surprise us.
Let's give them a win.
Home against Carolina. I'll give them that.
Yeah, okay.
Home against Pittsburgh.
L.
You got them twice. You want to say a Pittsburgh split?
Yeah, let's get a Pittsburgh split.
Okay.
So 3-1 start. Browns fans, hopes high as ever. Hopes are high as ever.
At Jets. 4?
A 4-1 start. Cleveland might burn to the ground. Adam.
Okay. Let's just assume they get swept by the Ravens.
Yeah.
At Tennessee. You want to give them that or no?
Oh, damn.
SBJ's not watching.
I don't want to give it to them. I think Tennessee, Carnell Tate, Cam Ward, new coach.
It's fine. At New Orleans.
Damn, that depends. Do you believe in Tyler Shuck?
Not really.
Not
so I'll
really.
give it 5.
Yeah.
We think they get beaten by the Texans? Probably, even though you're hosting them. Okay. Hosting the Raiders.
I think that's a loss. No, I think that's a loss this year.
Okay. 2 with Cincinnati. Swept?
Split? Yeah.
Split? All right, let's split.
Let's split. Defense.
Let's split. 6. Hosting the Falcons.
I mean, I was going to bring up their OTAs. Both lefties are looking terrible. Dropped balls, underthrown, overthrown. So that might be a win.
Okay. So 7. At the Giants.
That's an L.
Okay. And home against the Colts.
L.
All right. So we are being nice.
Nice.
We are being polite and giving the Browns 7, maybe 8 wins. That's not even close to enough. That's 7 or 8 wins for Cleveland is not even close to enough. So, I mean, you need 2 maybe 3 more wins to be a playoff team in the AFC if we follow the pattern. So if that's the case, V, I want to see the kids. I want to see Shedeur. I saw what he did in college. I realized that he plummeted in the draft and that he's not highly regarded, and a lot of people view him as selfish, too showy, arrogant, all of these things. I want to see what it looks like. I
agree, man. I'm a Shedeur truther, and whether I'm right or wrong, we'll find out this season probably. But I want to see him play. I think Dylan Gabriel is kind of bad, so I'm okay on that guy. But I do think Shedeur at least deserves a shot here in the NFL, and why not with this Cleveland Browns team? And Adam, it's funny that we gave them 7 wins because the Cleveland Browns win total right now is at 6.5 plus money to the over plus 135. Now, I don't know if I would take the over there, but it's just funny we landed right.
No, I would take the well. What's the juice on the under?
Minus 160. So maybe not. Oh.
Yeah, maybe in some sort of an alt parlay, something like that. Like,
I'm being serious though. 5-1 start. If that happens in Cleveland, or even a 4-1 start, City's gonna burn to the ground. They're not gonna make it into even half. They're not gonna make it to November.
I'm looking. I haven't. Let me see if they're there. Yeah, I haven't played with this market yet this year. Had some fun with it last year, and that's the regular season win market with alts. So, like you said, 6.5. Oh, they're not there yet. So eventually we're going to see, like, you're going to have alternative options that you can bet. Maybe it's over 4.5, maybe it's under 9.5, that kind of thing, given to you on the fun book and some other books. And that's where I would be interested in getting involved on Cleveland. I would consider taking them up a couple of wins. Let's say they overachieve a little bit, putting that in a parlay with some other team or teams, and go under 9.5, under 10.5, and just assume that they're pretty much what we think they're going to be. Now, that said, I had a parlay last year that, if I remember right, would have cashed if not for the fact that I had under 11.5 wins for the Patriots, and they won 14. So sometimes weird things happen, but
I mean, yeah, I completely agree, Adam. Just to push past this stuff now, a couple more things from OTAs today. I think that this Raiders team is going to be interesting, and not only with the fact that Max Crosby is now back at OTAs. I thought maybe he would be traded somewhere else before we even got to this point. Looks like he's staying there. A couple other notable guys missing were Nakobe Dean and some of the new additions. But again, it's OTAs. It's nothing really to be said. A lot of these guys are new signings too, so it's not really a contract thing. But you've got Fernando Mendoza here. He's looking all right. Max Crosby's back on the field. Do you think that this Raiders team has a chance here? New head coach, a hot shot offensive guy. You've got a brand new quarterback, Fernando Mendoza. Plus, he's got some weapons now, too. I think that not only is Brock Bowers out there, but I think Michael Mayer is a little bit better than people give him credit for because he's playing behind a guy like Bowers. And then on top of that, you have Austin Genty in his second year, usually the point where a running back does a little bit better. I mean, what are you thinking with this Raiders team? I kind of believe in them.
I appreciate everybody in the chat trying to save my life, first of all. And I will Martinez, Chucks, it is a dry cough, and I'm not enjoying it at all. Right now, the cough drop. After the cough drop, chug some of that water for sure. To answer your point, another cough drop for V. V is going to be I'm going to choke on this thing, keel over off this chair, and V is going to go, I told him cough drops.
You okay over there?
Yeah, you all right? He's getting like, as if he can see. You okay? Adam, you okay? Oh God. I like the Raiders, believe it or not. Now, what's the over/under on the Raiders total? By the way, let me guess.
Yeah,
and this is without me knowing the schedule. 5.5.
Wow. Yes, 5.5 at a minus 120 to the over, plus 105 to the under. My God, sir! After we just had 6.5 for the Browns, I did not think you were going to get that. So I'm impressed.
The only reason that felt right is because they won 3 games last year. So is Fernando Mendoza healthy Brock Bowers, hopefully, year 2 Ashton Genty, and like you said, offensive guru and Clint Kubiak, is that worth 3 more wins? I think it is. I think it's worth more than that, as a matter of fact. I think Mendoza is in the Rookie of the Year conversation. I think Kubiak clearly is in the Coach of the Year conversation. I think that this team clearly is not going to win the AFC West. Like, let's not get crazy. But this is another team where big if, and this contradicts much of what I just talked about with Cleveland, but if it's a down year and you get a 9-win team in the playoffs as a wild card team, you don't need the 10 or 11 to make a wild card spot. I think the Raiders could be that team. I think the Raiders absolutely have absolutely have the ability to be a 9-win team, to go slightly above 500 with that talent. Now, there are a lot of things that need to go right. You need Bowers to stay healthy. You need Crosby to stay healthy and bought in, not be traded. You need Genty to improve. You need
Mendoza might not even start week 1. That's the other interesting piece. We need to said in the chat.
How
I
about
don't know week 10, but
how about Jalen Naylor? You need him to be a legitimate, not a stud number 1 or anything, but you need him to
number 2.
you need him to be a guy that gives you 800 plus yards. Like he, as your top non-Bowers receiving option. Hell, he may not even get as many targets as Genty gets out of the backfield, quite frankly. We'll see how they run their offense. I'm not, as far as Beast, you brought this up, I'm not convinced. I'm not buying what we're being sold right now on Kirk Cousins is there definitively to be the bridge guy, and it's going to be a month or however long until we see Mendoza. I mean, that in this day and age in the NFL, that would be borderline unprecedented. It's one thing, like, I know close to me, Drake May, number 3 pick in the draft a couple of years ago. He didn't start the first, whatever it was, handful of games. It was Jacoby Brissett. They wanted to bring him along slowly, get him comfortable. That was the infamous Gerard Mayo year.
Mm-hmm.
Number 1 picks, however, you're number 1, you start, man. Like, Cam Ward started. Tennessee wasn't looking for a bridge guy. No, like, we drafted this guy number 1. He's our guy. Fernando Mendoza, to me, would have to be, and what do I know? I'm just guessing, giving you my opinion. But Mendoza, to me, would have to be dramatically outplayed by Cousins in camp and preseason action to get the week 1 start. I think Kubiak, again, don't know him personally, but I think Kubiak would feel the same. Kubiak just coached up Sam Darnold to win a Super Bowl. Sam Darnold, just that name alone, used to be a punchline, a laughing stock in the NFL. Like, if you were talking about guys that didn't live up to promise, usually you started with a guy like Sam Darnold. Not all-time bust like a Ryan Leaf or whoever, but modern day, like, that guy, how many teams are you going to bounce around to? He sucks. Sam Darnold. Mm-hmm. Sam Darnold's a Super Bowl winner. Got to change the conversation around Sam Darnold now. And Baker Mayfield and Daniel Jones and, Jared Goff and some of these guys that kind of needed another spot. Goff is not a great example. But Mendoza, man, I'm not alone in believing the kid can play. I don't think he was just, he was really good in college. No, I think this dude is just wired mentally, physical components. He's a gamer. We saw the undefeated season, the Heisman season, the championship year at Indiana. I want to see him play, and I think Kubiak wants to see him play too. So I don't think he's going to be sidelined long, if at all.
I kind of agree with you, Adam. And it's not often, like, when you have a bridge guy, it's because that guy's been with the team. It's because he's been playing there. Like, if you want to look at the Rams situation and them drafting Ty Simpson, maybe that could be looked at as a bridge situation. But you have a guy in Matthew Stafford that is just really elite, that has been with the team a long time. It's not often, not that I can remember, you bring in a bridge guy in the same year you draft a quarterback with the first overall pick. I think Mendoza is going to be playing sooner rather than later as well. I think he's good. And if you have this roster around him that you've kind of constructed, you bring in this new coach, it feels different than the Patriots that year. The Patriots went in with Drake May and they got him in the draft and everybody was happy, but I don't think anyone had any expectations to win that year. You guys' defense was really bad. Gerard Mayo didn't have high hopes, and I think that even a lot of people in the organization knew that Mike Vrabel was on the horizon in a sense where he told them to wait a year, that he didn't want to move. He needed a year for whatever reason, and that's what it felt like. And this situation, they already got their guy. Their bridge year was Pete Carroll last year to get them this first overall pick, and to not have him start with the roster you have in in Vegas right now, I think you kind of have to. To cap off this conversation about OTAs and whatever's been going on early, I just think that what we're seeing in Atlanta is pretty ugly. They have a roster too that defensively they were great last year. You have a guy like Drake May, Bijan Robinson in the backfield, Drake May on the outside. And you really have this roster that looks like it could be so good. And the one piece that's consistently missing has been quarterback play. You overpaid Kirk Cousins. You drafted a quarterback in the exact same year. And now you went and got another lefty that has never been good, has never shown any type of elite level play outside of maybe one season. And now both of them have looked terrible. And again, it's very early. But Atlanta just seems like a dumpster fire once again. I don't see how anything's changed there.
So no part of me here it cares how a guy looks in any way, shape, or form on not on May 20th. I mean, not when we're still, months away from September 9th and the season kicking off. I'll be honest. I was looking at the week 1 board, trying to identify, if I was going to place any bets now before, take advantage of market inefficiency, where lines may move, that kind of thing, and just identifying the spots that I really like. And I picked out a handful, and one of them was getting the full 3 with Atlanta in week 1 as underdogs. I think the Falcons very live to win week 1. They're going up against Pittsburgh. I don't think much of Rodgers and McCarthy and that tandem and that team. I'm honestly shocked they even won 10 games last year. I know McCarthy wasn't there, but Rodgers in general. I'm not a believer. And I think if Kevin Stefanski, multiple-time coach of the year in the NFL now, if he comes in and has a brain in his head, he will know that, okay, Penix, sure. Tua, sure. Bijan, that's what matters. This is an offensive player of the year candidate. This is a top 5, top 3 running back in the NFL. This is an elite talent. The offense in every way, shape, or form has to go through this guy. Now, you want to tell me the Falcons are going to suck? I'm going to ask you, is Bijan hurt? What week did it happen? I believe, not that the Falcons are going to be great, but they should be around 500 in a, division. And that's because of Bijan. I mean, I just think Stefanski, not that I love Stefanski, but Stefanski is the best coach that team has had in years. Oh yeah. And if he can't take advantage of all the skill, all the talent of Bijan Robinson, and then some decent enough skilled players around him, obviously Drake London, Kyle Pitts is still there, right? Unless I'm mistaken, maybe he left.
I think he's a free agent. I don't know if he's re-signed yet or not.
Yeah, I can double check. I'll look at that. But point being, this is Bijan's offense. No, I
completely agree. And with a guy like Stefanski, he's
still there. Pitts is still there in Atlanta. So
there you go.
No, I mean they got enough pieces to compete. So yeah, I like Atlanta week 1. I'm not worried about the quarterbacks right now.
Yeah, I completely agree. And I don't think there's a point in spending a lot of time on the Pittsburgh thing, but I did see someone tweet out a picture of McCarthy and Aaron Rodgers on the sidelines in Steelers gear, obviously. And it's like, if you showed this to me 10 years ago, I would have had a heart attack. And I'm pretty sure it was a Packers fan that was tweeting that out. But it's just funny how life works. You know what I mean? No, who would have seen this coming?
B says that Stefanski is the Doc Rivers of the NFL. Used car salesman. Listen, I'm here for as much Doc slander as you want to throw out, but at least he won a title. At least he had multiple deep playoff runs. Like, what has Stefanski done for you other than a couple of coach of the years?
Hey, Adam, if you had to guess their win total, what would you think it's at? The Falcons.
7.5.
Holy fuck, man. Yes. What the fuck?
Give me another one. Let's go till I'm wrong.
Okay. All right. Let's get another one. This one might be a little bit tricky. Cincinnati Bengals.
Cincinnati Bengals. Chugging that water as the chat doctors advise. Cincinnati's tough. Cincinnati, I kind of want to look at the schedule, but I won't. I'll just in the interest of time, I won't. I have the only number that makes sense to me is 9.5.
Holy fuck. Yes. Okay, we're gonna go till you miss, Adam. We're gonna keep it going till you miss. Yes. 9.5.
I haven't looked at any of these yet, Beast. I'm just honestly, I'm giving you answers with my own bias.
100%. This is hilarious.
I didn't even know we were doing this today.
Speaking of bias,
yeah.
Well, actually, we'll save that team. We'll save that team for in a sec here. Let's go to the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, they're ripe to lose A.J. Brown. But that would be baked into the total because everyone knows it. So there's no way it's below, like it's not 9.5. It's not going to be below 10. 11.5 feels too aggressive. It's possible, but it feels too aggressive. I'm going to go 10.5.
Oh my God. Okay. We're going to keep going, Adam. Holy fuck. 10.5 is absolutely correct. Plus money on the over, but yeah, it's in at 10.5. All right. Green Bay South. Like the Miami Dolphins with Jeff Hafley and a ton of the front office staff from Green Bay.
Jeff Hafley, formerly of Boston College, Malik Willis, Devon Achane.
And a significant portion of Tua Tagovailoa's contract still.
So I feel like I want to say 3.5, but that feels like embarrassingly low. It's definitely not higher than 5.5. So it's in that range. It's 3.5, 4.5, 5.5. It's somewhere in that range. Are the Dolphins going to win 3? I'm going to say 5.5.
Oh, close. 4.5. You were right there. Between
I should have just split it.
All right.
Where's the juice?
Last one.
Where's the
juice?
You
got it wrong. What do you think the Patriots win total is at?
Wait, where's the juice on that?
Oh, on Miami. Juice to the over. No, sorry, juice to the under. Juice to the under. Minus 125.
Right. So plus money to the over at 4.5?
At 4.5. Yep.
Wow. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Last one. New England Patriots.
Probably 9.5.
Looking spot on, Adam. Wow. Not that I'm very, very impressed. Very right at 9.5. No schedules, no studying, just win totals from last year off the dome, and here we are. Chat. Can you be more excited for NFL season? We're right there.
Coming, baby. Right around the corner.
All right.
Let's hammer the under. I bet the juice is on the over with New England too, right?
Yep. There you go. Minus 135. Spot on.
I don't know, Beast. I don't know.
I got belief in this Pats team. I think the defense is good, and I think
they're a double-digit win team. Beast. I'm going over.
Yeah, Drake May's like one of the nicest deep balls I've seen. And he's only in year 1 as a full-time starter.
He's going to look awfully good throwing that football to one A.J. Brown.
All right. Off of the gridiron.
A.J. Brown dropping 1,400 receiving yards this year with Drake May.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine a reinvigorated A.J. Brown?
Yes, I get
it. His favorite team.
Did you see, by the way, the ridiculous stuff on – I think it was TMZ earlier. I don't know the backstory of who's friends with who. So maybe there's a logical reason this happened, but at least the headline, it just seemed ridiculous. Julio Jones was asked to weigh in on Jalen Hurts skipping AJ Brown's wedding. Going, what? This feels like Mad Libs. What are we doing?
What are we doing? What are we doing? Why?
How well does Julio even know these guys?
Exactly. Are we joking around here? And was he even invited? Maybe he wasn't invited.
Well, of course, I mean that would be a much bigger story. You don't invite your number one wide receiver.
Yeah. Oh my God. You don't invite your
Well, Julio
QB
Jones
because
kind
it was
of
Browns
bounced
wedding.
around at the end. Let's see. Did he ever? I'm pulling up Julio Jones' stats. All right, so he
Yeah, he
played
did
with
play
AJ
for.
Brown. He played with AJ Brown in Tennessee. He played with Jalen Hurts in Philadelphia.
Yeah.
I had forgotten that he was with Philly at the very end. I remembered Tennessee and Tampa. I forgot about Philly. So all
Right
right,
at the very end. I think it was a late season signing too. I don't think it was something.
all right. So fine. He played with both those guys. So that makes sense. I still think it's dumb,
I
but
still think.
at least the connection makes sense.
Yeah, I agree. You have any plays on the diamond today, Adam? Any system plays?
Yeah, I do. Let me pull them up for you.
Should we
Let
talk
me
about those? I
see.
got nothing on the diamond today. I'm solely focused on game 2 in the Western Conference.
Let me pull them up for you, my friend. So, one sec. We're loading.
Chat, you guys got anything on the diamond? What are you guys looking at tonight? Any
All
home
right.
run hitter?
So, we right now, we had the Rays earlier, and that was a nice comeback win late. So, Tampa's in. That's 1-0. We're on Arizona, up 6-3, bottom 8. So, hoping to start 2-0. The remaining system plays today are the Guardians, who get started in about an hour, the Brewers about 2 hours from now, and the Cardinals about that same time. So Guardians, Brewers, and Cardinals are the remaining available system plays to hop on.
Guardians, Brewers, and Cardinals.
Brewers, at least when I bet them, I don't know if they still are, even money. The others are slight minus money.
One of those guys is going to go in the parlay, Adam. So think about it, let it percolate, and we'll throw
Oh,
one
man.
of those guys in the parlay.
That's pressure. I would probably pick the Cardinals, though, on that list.
All right. I think so, too. I feel like they're in a good spot here, especially who do they have on the – I don't even know this guy for the Pirates.
And Beast, yeah, Nerpy in the Dodgers game, big fan of that one.
Yeah. Anything on the ice, Adam?
So I've got, let me see. Let me pull it up.
An Avalanche money line ticket in a parlay.
So I have two parlays that are contingent upon Avalanche money line, but I do have, not for any real good reason. I don't know, being chicken, I guess. I did put a little bit on a straight on Vegas at plus money just to, kind of, I mean, I know I can't win both. I didn't do like plus 1.5 goals or something, but
Just hedging your bets a little bit.
Yeah, I don't want to, diversifying. I don't want to lose both parlays on the Avalanche if that happens. So I have a little bit on Vegas. Another bet that I might make, I'm still thinking about it, is the over. I think we're going to get goals in that game.
I think so too. I think both of these teams are very offensive-minded teams that like take a ton of shots and score a ton of goals. And it just feels like one of those things where we're going to see a lot of goals. But for all the hockey talk and everything like that, right after us, the expected bets boys will be live going through this game and talking probably about the Eastern Conference Final as well. Mm-hmm. Montreal and Carolina, big time over there. I know that Canadiens fans and just Canadians all around the world. Like Montreal is one of those few teams that if you're not a Leafs fan or an Ottawa Senators fan, you can basically get behind. So if you're from the western side of Canada, you can cheer for them a little bit. But that's been a fun series too. I know they're coming off a tightly contested 7-game series in the East.
Nice.
We'll talk about this Western Conference game before the expected bets boys come and kick us out of here.
I think we need to for at least a few minutes before we build out that parlay. Listen, game 1 was incredible. Went to 2 overtimes, 122-115. Spurs win that thing. Everyone's talking about the Wemby logo 3, which, by the way, like, if I just want to say, makes me a curmudgeon. I realize this is just the way basketball's played today. But if I were a Spurs fan and Wemby put up that 3 in that situation with 30 seconds left, I would have lost my mind. I would have been so pissed. Now it goes in. Who cares? All's forgiven. But that was such a shot of arrogance and heat check and stupidity. I would have lost my mind. Dude went crazy, though. 41 points, 24 rebounds. We don't know. I feel like the expectation is that Fox is going to return. Didn't play in game 1. Obviously, him not playing led to bigger games out of Harper and Castle and Johnson, all these guys, granted the double overtime played a role in that as well. I know you were talking about this before we came on. I would tend to agree with you. Are you expecting a response from SGA in particular? Never mind just the Thunder. And it seems very popular in the industry that people are laying the 6.5 with OKC. Heaven forbid they go down 0-2 at home and have to go to San Antonio. I don't really want to lay the number. I would, for our parlay, put OKC money line in there. I do think they win. But what do we get out of SGA? Is this going to be a 30-plus point performance?
SGA, I honestly think he's got the toughest matchup in this series. The Spurs have the bodies to guard him, and not only do they have one guy or two guys, they have multiple guys that they can put out there and play him physically. He still got to the line for 9 free throw attempts. It wasn't a game in which he wasn't getting to the line. Yes, maybe he didn't get to his average here in the postseason, but he is a guy that got to the line. He averages 10.2 free throw attempts per game here in the postseason, and during the regular season, he averaged just 9. So it was just his shooting, and a lot of that was in the mid-range. 2 for 7 from 3, but he shot 30% from the field, 7 of 23. Very, very much unlike SGA. He is one of the most efficient, if not, actually, he probably is the most efficient non-center scoring player in the NBA, and he is been fantastic in the postseason, averaging 28.6 points per game. But Stephon Castle, Dylan Harper, a guy like De'Aaron Fox, all of these guys are guys you can use. A guy like Julian Champagnie gives you length and three-point shooting, and really, I think, tests Shea as well on the defensive side, because sometimes Shea's not a bad defender, but he obviously pulls the softest matchups just because of the guys he's surrounded by. And the Spurs just have a team that is playing 1 through 5. This is a team that shot 30% from the field in their from 3 in their last game, shot under, I think it was 43% from the field in that game, and still somehow won. Windy said it too. I was watching him this morning, and he was doing the rounds on these talk shows, and they asked him, like, what's the next step for Wemby if this is how he's playing? He's like, honestly, I think OKC did a good job. He was 14 of 25 from the field. The majority of his shots came at the rim. And that 1-3 that you're talking about, I would have had the same reaction. I had that reaction. I jumped out of my seat. He had taken 1 3-point attempt before that in the game. Yep. He had missed it. Everything else was coming inside. And with 28 seconds left, obviously you're trying to get more possessions. But that shot from where he shot it, absolute insanity. I have not seen many players, let alone I've never seen a 7'4" guy hit that kind of shot. And I just don't understand how you combat that, because Chet doesn't seem like he's big enough or physical enough or strong enough. And usually that's where Isaiah Hartenstein comes in. But you can't play Isaiah Hartenstein because of his inability to stretch the floor. And if he's not stretching the floor, Wemby's just going to sit in the paint. At one point in that game, Adam, the Thunder shot 16 of 50 with Wemby on the floor versus 10 of 16 with him off of the floor. That's an insane difference. In the playoffs, he has a plus 21.1 net rating. There's nobody like him. He was a plus 16 in their last game and a 7-point double overtime win. How does any of this make sense? He played 48 minutes, the most he's ever played. A guy that size should not be able to play over 44 minutes in an NBA game, as evidenced by Jokic and Embiid and others. He has an insane motor, and I do think that 6.5 points feels like a ton. How are you feeling about the spread in this one?
I would lay it if I, had to. But like I said, I much prefer. I do believe OKC wins. I think most people feel that way. I just would rather do it through the comfort of putting them in a parlay with other things versus laying it, because I'm not going to. I liked San Antonio to surprise the Thunder in game 1. I liked that money line. I really liked, obviously, taking them with the points. Tonight feels like a response, feels like an answer, whether it's SGA, whether it's Jay Will, whether it's, I don't know. I don't think it's going to be Holmgren series, as you talked about, but, Caruso's not going to drop 30 again, obviously, but they're going to find a way through a little bit more balance. And I think the Thunder win the game. If I had to, though, yeah, I would lay the 6.5. Our guy SBJ is in the chat. He does not believe Fox plays. Likes Harper PRA up to 22.5. 18.5 last game. Loves Champagnie. He's with UV on that.
Yep.
Dylan and
Also
Castle
good.
Masterclass says Beast.
Yeah. Like SPJ just said, Champagne. The line's sitting the same as it was in the last one. He was fantastic. Honestly, didn't shoot the best, but he rebounded really well. Had 9 rebounds in that game. Went 3 of 11 from 3. And like I said, the Spurs shot 30% from 3. They're not a good 3-point shooting team, but the funny thing is the Thunder are a bad 3-point defense, and you have to take advantage of it, especially in the corner. They are the 16th ranked team in threes allowed to the corner 3 spot in this postseason, and that's exactly where Champagne's been fantastic. He's shooting 46% in the corner over his last 10 games, and obviously all of those have come here in the postseason. I just think after going 1 for 4 from the corner in that first game, he's going to hit some more threes. He's going to continue to rebound the ball, and they need perimeter shooting, and he's been one of their best 3-point shooters this season. I also think on the other side, like you mentioned him, I don't think Chet's going to have a huge game, but the 2 threes for plus money feels intriguing to me because if you're not stretching the floor when you're matched up with Wemby, then you're not doing your job. You only took 4 threes in that first game, hit 2, but I do think that his volume has to significantly increase if they want to pull Wemby out of the paint. What do you think, Adam?
I've seen a lot of people on his unders today, but also simultaneously on his overs for 3-pointers. So I think a lot of people in the industry are thinking, excuse me, similar to how you're thinking, V. So yeah, again, I don't love it necessarily, but if I were, for instance, to invest, yes, I would be looking at the unders for points. The over 1.5 threes. What's the juice on it?
It's plus 140.
Plus 140 over?
Yeah.
All right. That's tempting enough to give it a shot.
Right? So we start building this parlay just because we're running short on time. And honestly, I feel like we've got a few solid legs in here. Yeah. This is what I've got so far, Adam. I've got the Cardinals on the money line, minus 112.
Okay.
I did add the Avalanche on the money line. You might have to increase your shares of that one.
I guess so. All right. Let me see. I'm going to build right along with you.
I've got Chet Holmgren for 2 threes right now, but that one is kind of iffy on it. I am going to throw Champagne in here, though, at 14.5 for the PR. So with Champagne and with Chet, this plays plus 1,034.
So hang on. You've got Avs, you've got Cardinals.
Yep.
You say you have Thunder money line or no?
No, I didn't, but we can add the Thunder money line.
Okay, and then Champagne.
Not about Champagne. Champagne's in there for sure. 14.5. Chet's the one that's a little bit up in the air. Do we want to go with a J-Dub? You did mention him. He played 37 minutes in that OT game, even though they did say he was going to maybe see a little bit of a drop in minutes. But, like, you can't go down 2-0. He's going to have to be out there. His PRA is sitting at 27.5.
You said 14.5 for Champagne PR?
Yeah.
Okay. So I've got Thunder, Champagne, Abs, Cardinals, 4 legs.
Or do we just – did you add the Thunder money line?
Yeah, I have the Thunder. I have Champagne over 14.5 PR. Abs money line, Cardinals money line.
Or do we just take Shea for 30? Or 25 if we want to be a little bit soft. Plus 840 for the 25.
That is plus 840.
That feels pretty good.
Or do we think, would you swap out SGA and do something with Wemby, like a PR combo for him?
Maybe. Possibly. His line's going to be really high, though. It's sitting at 38.5 for the PR. I could see it, though.
If you did 35, that gets you to roughly plus 940.
Oh, I'm down to do that. The PR, right? Or the PRA?
PR. No, that is PRA. I take it back. PR.
$35.5.
You could do 30 PR, and that's 870.
Let's do that. 30 PR. Where is it? Okay, 30 PR for Victor Wembanyama.
All right, so that would be OKC money line, Champagne over 14.5 PR, Wemby 30 plus PR, Avalanche money line, Cardinals money line, plus 867 where I'm looking.
That feels good to me. I'm just typing it out for chat. And then we can get out of here. I think we've got a couple minutes while these boys down low get ready to go. But
you throwing a cup of coffee on that?
maybe a little lunch. Maybe, you know what I mean? Like a little sandwich and a coffee. Sandwich and a coffee.
There we go.
Sandwich and a coffee. Feels like we're being a little bit responsible too. You know what I mean? Hopefully it doesn't go the way it did last week.
This is hitting.
Is there anything else on your mind for this game, Adam? Any other props you're looking at? Or like, what do you forget about from a betting angle? What are you sitting down to watch and enjoy in this game too tonight? Like, what's got your attention a little bit? Like, what matchup are you honing in on maybe?
I mean, honestly, what has my attention is just the game itself. Not to give you like an overall 30,000 foot view cop out answer, but this to me, and I'm sure to you and to most people out there, is the NBA Finals in the semifinal round. I think that either of these teams smokes the Knicks or Cavs. Could even be a gentleman's sweep. It could be an embarrassingly short NBA Finals to where we will look back at the semifinal round and say, oh, what we had. Just longing, even for the Eastern Series. Maybe we get a good series out of the Knicks and Cavs. Obviously, it was a great start. We'll see. But these, excuse me, the thing is, and yeah, B says he's so excited for the Spurs up 2-0. That will be the consolation prize. If the Spurs go up 2-0, I will not be distraught that the parlay lost because it means the Spurs are up 2-0. But yeah. The scary thing for the rest of the league, and certainly you and I as Celtics fans feel this, these teams are just on a whole other level. They are playing a completely different game, completely different sport from any other team in the league right now. And I truly don't know how you catch up. I don't know how you try and eliminate some of that middle tier.
You really can't. Not with the contracts that these guys are on either. This team has been built from within, and all of their picks, everything is coming to fruition. So I'm with you, Adam. I think it's scary hours in the Western Conference for them over there right now. So I wouldn't want to be a team having to battle those two for the next maybe 10 years.
B says, feels like it's going to be Celtics Mavs. Absolutely BTA.
Yeah,
could be built out, man. We'll find out. All right. Time for us to go. I want to thank Ronan behind the scenes, SGA for the emotional and moral support. For V, I'm Adam. I'm going to go have some soup or something. Somebody calling? Is that my phone ringing through the computer? All right, we got to go, man. We got to leave. Expected bets for next on BNN. Stay tuned. You got the crew on the way.
What is going on, everyone? Welcome into Expected Bets 4. I'm Gator Betting, and that's Franco the Banker. Franco, is your camera a little different today?
I'm apparently I'm like blinding. I don't know. It was
weird. Your contrast is crazy right now.
It was dark to start. Now it's just super bright, so I have no idea what's going on. But yeah,
it's a hot start to the show. There you go. So, anything we really need to talk about before we get into today's games?
No, we don't need to talk about the Sabres losing, right?
No, we don't. No. Yeah, that was a tough one. I guess we can go through it now. I went through it.
I mean, you have to, unfortunately, right?
You guys got me, or my Wi-Fi cut out as soon as I was trying to.
You were lagging a little bit, but yeah, I mean, you got to talk about it. These are your boys. These are your boys, you know. See, it's glitching out because the Sabres just glitched out in that game, right? Is that how it works?
Yeah, I mean, it was a tough one. Like, it's tough too because you're like, all right, this is the first taste of playoff hockey in 14 years. So at one point, you're like, all right, this is great. Like, the door's opening to be a part of this franchise. Like, their core's there. Like, you have a few guys already locked up. Hopefully Benson gets locked up this year. Like, you have emerging prospects like Kulik, Osland, Hellenis. They're all coming through the door, right? Like, the team's moving in the right direction that I feel like it hasn't been in a very, very long time. Still, that sucked. That was heartbreaking. Game 6, we outplayed them. Game 7, after the first period, it felt like we outplayed them too. The first period, I was like, oh shit, we're in for one here. But moving on after the first, we outplayed them, I thought. And it was just heartbreak. But as I said before, it's not as bad as like a Bills playoff loss. A Bills playoff loss, this team's moving towards the end of their window, it feels like, with Josh, right? This is a team that's up and coming, and the window is just beginning. However, that in true Buffalo fandom, that's only setting ourselves up for more and more heartbreak, because each continual playoff loss moving forward is going to hurt that much more.
You're getting closer and closer to him being gone, you know?
Exactly. Yeah, it's it's a tough one for sure. It's a very, very tough one that you're trying to look at yourself and justify in any sort of way of, yeah, no, it's not that bad, but it's brutal.
I mean, so what do you think about that 2-on-1 with Benson and Tage? What are your thoughts there?
I have some thoughts. Did you see, I think it was last summer, Tage's goal for like the IIHF championship? He scored the golden goal. I think it was against like Switzerland. Yeah, I was like a similar one where he like does the toe drag.
Yeah.
I don't think he could have gotten that over, because when you're like looking at it, like his stick was kind of like pinned into his body. As soon as he made the toe drag, his stick like was basically on him, unless he like flicks it like a little.
I think he should have made the pass earlier, though.
I don't know. I thought they played it pretty well. Like I just don't think he could have gotten it over. In the moment, am I like, what the hell are we doing? Like, why is he not just ditching it to Benstee's wide open? But I didn't think Tage looked good all game. Like Tage was not necessarily a factor at all in that second series. Like I didn't think he looked good at all. So
and Benson has been one of the better finishers. So like you almost like defer at that point to the guy that has been succeeding. I thought he should have tried to pass it. Like, yeah, if it gets broken up, it gets broken up. But to me, in that type of situation, the shot was taken away. You know, he couldn't really do much of anything. Like he tried the toe drag, but it ended up just being a mess, like fumbled mess when it came down to it. And it just sucks, because it doesn't mean Benson would have finished it either. Maybe he would have missed it wide or hit the post, or the goalie would have gotten over, whatever. Or it would have gotten broken up. But it just seemed like a bad decision at the time.
Yeah, and it was kind of all leading towards that. Of the Sabres were, even in OT, like had control of the puck the majority of the time.
Dominating.
Like, we're leading that way, dominating that way, going. And then in true Game 7 fashion, all it takes is one bounce, and now we're gone, eliminated for the postseason. Coping mechanism as well. I didn't really give ourselves that much of a shot against Carolina. Like, fair cope. But I'll be forced to play it up. Coping mechanism. Like, we can get into that series in a second, but 11-day rest, I don't like, maybe for the first period in Game 1 it hurts him. That's such a huge advantage. It's not even crazy. Like, it is crazy how big of an advantage an 11-day rest period is. Maybe you look at Montreal first period in Game 1 of like, hey, but again, we kind of saw what happened after Montreal had the Game 7 against Tampa Bay, and then the first game against Buffalo, and they just laid an egg. Like, they were terrible in that game. Buffalo completely controlled that game. So it's going to be the greater of two evils, rest versus, like, not even rust, of just exhaustion.
What the other, like you said, it's like the Canadians came off a big Game 7 win and dudded in that game against Buffalo. Like, so you're going to have the rust of Carolina, or the rest from Carolina, where they might be slow or whatever to start. But I feel like the Canadians are going to go in that game mentally, physically exhausted as well. So it's almost going to be like an even first period to me, where there's no advantage either way. Like, at least in my mind, maybe I'm wrong. I grabbed Kane. You know, we're not getting in that game yet, but like I grabbed Canes immediately as soon as that game ended, because I saw how bad the Canadians looked in game 1 against Buffalo. They looked completely flat. They had nothing.
Yeah, and this is year 2 of, you want to say, this Montreal team, I guess, like contending, right? I mean, before they were building and building and building, but last year they make the postseason. I think they lost the first round, right?
Yeah, I'm
Maybe
trying to remember
didn't.
who they played.
I can't, but last year they make the playoffs for the first time, and this with this kind of core group, right? And they go ahead, and now this year they win the first 2 rounds, and they're going on to the Eastern Conference Finals. It's almost like a slow progression with like the NHL, it seems like, especially with these young core. It's not, I mean, even the Sabres too. We were like, hey, maybe they have a shot. It takes several years, it feels like, to go from kind of a true making the playoffs to moving to the contender jump, right? Not just your first year, you're automatically contender. Anaheim, first year, same thing with the Sabres. Vegas is different, though. Vegas necessarily didn't have to build a core. They took pieces,
they were just,
and these were players who had already been in the postseason. These new teams is completely different, right? Because they don't have to start like, it's not a complete rebuild. Like, you're taking pieces. I guess it is, but it's not in the same sense.
It's a different,
it's a different type of rebuild. Yes.
Yes.
But I mean, again, Montreal's a damn good team. Dobish is an incredible goalie. Like, St. Louis clearly has a pulse on that locker room. They have a great young core. They have playoff experience now. Like, Lane Hudson's incredible. It's going to be interesting to see what they do with the rest of that D core, because they shorten that bench quick in Game 7.
That's a worry.
And yes, having Matheson locked up for a while, like, Dobson wasn't great either. Like, Montreal's D core, I guess, is where you could put a spotlight on and said, this is the issue moving forward. I think that's kind of the biggest thing. And maybe a few expiring contracts with some veterans. That's about it. But still, like, I don't know. They're a really good team. I think it's going to be interesting moving forward. I think the Atlantic in general, that landscape has completely changed. I don't know what Toronto's going to do now, right? Like Florida, I think I can see them again, moving back into the postseason.
Florida's going to walk right back into the postseason, and they're going to be the best team in the league again next year. Unfortunately for everyone, because they're going to get healthy.
But what do you do with Tampa now? Tampa's another question mark team where you're like, all right, well, they've lost in the first round the majority of the past few seasons, but like, are they just going to continuously try to run this thing back? Like, when they moved down from Stamkos, you're like, all right, they're going to maybe try to take a different route to the postseason here and kind of change up this configuration of the squad. Didn't necessarily happen. It hasn't worked out post Stamkos era.
I have my worries about Tampa, like, continuing to contend, because I mean, they're going to lose Radish, right? Hedman is a big question mark going into next season as well. You know, they signed McDonough, who's on the downturn of his career. So, you know, what's your blue line look like next year going into the season, especially if Hedman's not ready to go? It's not going to look pretty. There's no way they're going to sign Radish. Like, I can't, like, he's going to get paid. So I have big questions. Like, I was high on Tampa going into the postseason, and they let me down big time. And I don't see, the depth just hasn't been as good over the last couple seasons, really, and that's what it comes down to. And you know, his point doesn't look right. Like, he looked, maybe he's playing injured, I don't know, but yeah, I mean, I think Florida moves back in, but otherwise, it's very much a changing the guard. I think Boston's going to be another year older with their veterans. Who knows what's going to happen with that team? They kind of overachieved this year as well. The East in general, I think, is going to be kind of
Ottawa.
It's going to start
another
to
team that's
flip a little bit.
Made the playoffs the past 2 years. Like,
I think
Detroit,
they'll continue to. Yeah, Detroit's been on the fringe every year. CBJ's been on the fringe every year, and you know Pittsburgh eventually is going to miss. I mean, it was Washington that beat.
I mean, Boston and Pittsburgh were projected to be the last in their division.
Yeah, and they made us everybody look like fools. But again, like,
Washington
you're
even
walking. Losing you again, I think. Yeah, close all those windows, Gator. Yeah, I mean Washington's a big question mark too, but they have the goaltending is always going to help them. But yeah, I mean, I think there's a lot of changes happening in both conferences. You know, Utah looked better this year. San Jose continues to rack up young talent. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. It'll be interesting to see. You know, you kind of take for granted making it to the playoffs every year as a team like Pittsburgh or Boston. You know, when's that shoe gonna drop when you're not in every year? We'll see what happens. You know, when or Toronto for that matter, if a full rebuild kind of starts to happen with these teams that have been perennially in the playoffs. Eventually, there is going to be a changing of the guard, and these young teams are going to start making it every year, just like these other teams have.
Yep. Yeah, agreed. And out west too. I mean, it was interesting. Anaheim. I don't think they really stood much of a chance, right? Like Vegas again, that playoff experience just took over in that second round matchup. Colorado again, they're like, hey, Minnesota's beat Dallas. Maybe they're now the team to beat. Like Bill Guerin finally kind of made a few moves to put this team into contention, and Colorado just completely dominated that series. Gentleman's sweep. And unfortunately, it all just seems like it's setting up for Colorado, Carolina, which to me is not the most exciting final. I'll be the first to say it.
Yeah, I don't know. To me, it's like, could you argue that these are the two best teams this year? Though,
what team of these four though gets you excited?
I mean, Montreal's probably Montreal and Colorado would be a fun series,
yes,
just because
that's the only combination I could think of this Stanley Cup having some juice.
Yeah. But I mean, again, we'll get into these series in a minute, but I don't know. I mean, I feel like Carolina's always that team that just doesn't bring the like excitement. You know what I mean? It's unfortunate. It's always been the case. It feels like even going back 5-6 years when they were making it felt like every year to the conference finals. You never were excited about them making it to the cup. You're like, oh man, I don't know if I want them in there, but
no, even in like the Cam Ward, Brendan Moore days, like that team too. That team was exciting, I guess you'd say, like way back then. Like that was at least an exciting team. This version of the Canes, I feel like is just kind of boring.
I think this is a little bit better than the team like 3 years ago, maybe 4 years ago.
That's fair. Yes,
that team
yes.
was more. That team was more of a like straight up shutdown. Like
fair enough. Fair enough. Yeah. This, I guess, this edition of this team is certainly more.
It's got a little more juice. It's got a little more youth to it. Guys like Jarvis and Blake are exciting. Stankoven. There's at least a little bit of speed and juice to it. It didn't feel like that was the case before. You had, you had that like Stahl, Fost, Martinook line. You had Pesci back on the blue line with Slavin. It was more of a like a lockdown trap style, we'll say.
Yeah, and I guess is this kind of Montreal's plan too? We saw them kind of muck it up with the Sabres before too. Like in the early few games, like I guess this is kind of their path forward against Montreal or Carolina is just try to out physical them.
Yes.
Right. Like Philly tried to do it. Didn't really make a difference at all.
I mean, I will say that series was a lot more even than you would think, I would say. The Philly series with Carolina, obviously they swept them, but overall, besides game one where they just got completely smoked, Philly hung in most of the periods of that series. It was just Carolina was the better team.
Yep.
Period.
And the same thing with the Ottawa series, right? Like Ottawa again tried to just physical.
Yep. There were points where it looked like they had a shot. You know, it's just like you couldn't finish when you needed to, and Carolina did. So again, the better team won, and it is what it is. But I don't know. I do see some cracks in Carolina to an extent, but I think it can't be overstated enough how much playing 4 games going into the conference finals is a massive advantage compared to 14 games for
that's I was going to say too. 8 games is one thing. The other team playing the maximum games for each of those series, it's crazy difference.
And it's the same thing in the other series as well, especially for Vegas, who's a little bit older. It's not going to help them I mean, you played a ton of games. Colorado played 9. You know, so it's like the health. We don't know every injury that everybody has either, right? Like, you know, there are the players that are out or day to day, but how many players are playing with something lingering and they're just out there and ineffective? That the more games you play, the more guys are like that. The guys that you can normally count on that just aren't finishing now because they have a back injury or an upper body injury, as they call it. But they're not marked on the injury report. They're not questionable or day to day. They're just playing every single game, but you're noticing that they're not finishing. They're not scoring at the pace or shooting at the pace that we're used to seeing. So, yeah, playing 14 games compared to 8 it's essentially they played an entire series more than Carolina has.
The rest versus rust debate, I feel like applies to maybe one game, right? Like if you're looking at two teams and midway through the season of teams coming off kind of their long break for a week, and another team played maybe 3 games that week and is playing on a back-to-back or whatever, like rust versus rust, that's the debate. Postseason is completely different across a 7-game series. Like, I guess let's just get into it right now. Carolina, Montreal. We've been talking about it pretty much the entire.
Let's try that again.
Yeah, right. DraftKings is slow. FanDuel slow. Everything's just this computer's brutal today. Is this a fair line? Like I feel like Carolina could be minus 350.
Yeah, but I mean, there is something to be said about a team that has just been able to get it done, right? They were huge dogs in the first series against Tampa Bay. No one gave them a shot. Every single game, they were Tampa was a favorite, I believe. Maybe besides, a game or two, but I feel like every game Tampa was favored. Obviously, it was a little bit closer as far as lines in the Sabres series, but they, once Buffalo won Game 6 and it went back to Buffalo for Game 7, I think the live line on the series was like minus 140.
No, it was like minus 120 for Game 7. It was like minus 120 to I think they were even money, right? Like, but pretty close to a even split.
There's just something to be said about a team kind of getting it done regardless of the odds. So I get it. Carolina should be favored coming into the series. I think we kind of talked about that already with everything we've been saying, but I don't know. There's no way I'm taking that price on Carolina. Let's put it that way. What's the spread at? I didn't even look at
minus 122 on the blue book for 1.5.
So that's not terrible, but I mean, I don't know, man. There's something to be said about just kind of winning despite what the odds are saying. I do feel like this is where it ends for Montreal. Just logically for me, it makes too much sense, but hey man, there's a little bit of devil on my shoulder, so to speak, saying, well, maybe. Yeah. I will say, the feeling is that Montreal could kind of break this team to an extent with the speed they have. And unfortunately, they don't have it from top to bottom. Like their bottom 6 is not very strong. And I think, again, you go down the lines and everything, Carolina's got them beaten pretty much every kind of category there. But it's got to be speed. It's got to be kind of balls to the wall, I think, for Montreal. I don't think they can't try to win a game 2-1. I think that's what Philly did in that series. They said, "Oh, we're going to," and Ottawa to an extent. Let's play a game that's 1-0 or 2-1, and try to just kind of close it out or play tight. That's what Carolina wants. So you need to break it. You need to be the wild card, so to speak, if you're Montreal, and come into that series and just say, you know what, we're fine with conceding goals. We're gonna to tell our D-men to pinch. We're going to, pressure down low when pucks are in the corner to try to create havoc and force a situation down, down by the net. But that's what they need to do. They cannot go up 2-1 in a game and say, all right, we're good. That's what they did against Buffalo in Game 7. They had the lead, and they said, no, we're fine. We're not going to shoot anymore. You can just throw as many pucks as you want on Dobish.
Even in Game 6, right, where they went down, or they went up 3-1. It was still at a certain point, too, where they started to pull back, and they're like, all right, well, we can give up 1, but, like, we can't give up 2, and then the floodgates just completely opened.
Yep.
And
you cannot do that against this team. They will cook you instantly.
In Carolina is a weird point, too, where if Montreal's going to have to win the series, it's going to have to be, I feel like, with the advantage of goaltending, right? Dobish has been great, but so is Freddie Anderson for the first time in the playoffs that we necessarily haven't seen him be this good, but really turn into a pumpkin. Very realistic probability, maybe 25%. Like, it's there, right?
I would say that's the problem with the long layoff. If there's one thing that we know, like,
it's Freddie's brain.
A goaltender in general, right?
Yeah.
Goalie's been hot, saving everything, up there at the top as far as goals saved above expected in the playoffs, and now he gets 11 days off. That's a long time for a creature of habit, right? That has been, that whatever he's been doing, whatever voodoo he's been working in the locker room has been working. 11 days is a long time.
So
hopefully that voodoo can keep working for him.
We'll get back to the series futures in a second, but how are we not looking at that over 5.5 for Game 1 at -130? I feel like that's an incredible price.
I would worry just because of, like we said, both these goalies have been great.
But again, what we saw in Game 1 too, like the amount of chances Buffalo had and they only scored 4, Montreal was still able to put up 2. I see this first game, like you said, a little bit of rust on Anderson's side. Dobish has been good, but this team's also going to be exhausted. I think Carolina wins Game 1, -196, not a price I'm willing to lay. But I do kind of have an alternate way of approaching it if you have any serious futures before we get into Game 1.
I could do a... Let's see.
Here we go. This is the
Can we do it? Can we do a Carolina to win Game 1 and win the series? What's that?
All right, let's see what we got here.
-125. That's not bad.
I love it. My two favorite props in this one are going to be Carolina Hurricanes 4-1 at +320 and Carolina Hurricanes 4-2 at +360.
Okay.
I don't think they sweep Montreal. I think Montreal is a better team than Ottawa and Philly, obviously. But I think Carolina wins the series somewhat decisively. The spread on the series is -1.5 at -122. Instead, I'm going to go towards the correct score and go Hurricanes take the series 4-1. Hurricanes take this series 4-2 at +320 and +360. Obviously, shop around. I only have one tab open, but those are the two props in terms of series futures that I'm taking in the East.
That's good. I mean, that's good pricing for that.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to figure it's going to be difficult to get this to go to 7. We're going to find out a lot. We're going to find out a lot this first game, I think, as far as if they can break it down.
I don't think the series goes 7. So if you want to play it safer, you can just take the exact number of games. 5 games is +230. 6 games is 2-1. But
yeah, that's not bad.
Take that if you're like, hey, maybe Montreal's a chance. But like, can Montreal go 3 series in a row, forcing Game 7s or taking it to Game 7? It just doesn't seem realistic.
And I don't see them winning in Game 7 if they did get there.
Correct. Correct.
They
have to win a series quick if they want to have a shot.
Injury. There would be too much injuries, too much, wear and tear. And again, I mean, we talked about the depth. I have some serious concerns about that depth as far as, are they going to even play that fourth line in a tight game, right? Like they didn't play it in overtime. I think they said Kapanen.
They're running
like
6 forwards. That third line was the third line was getting very few shifts as well. Like,
which is
St.
weird
Louis
because you have to know.
but
like,
he completely shortened that bench.
Yeah.
Which I guess for one game you have to do, but I don't know. Back-to-back 7-game series.
We know what happens when you do that. Like, we criticized the Kings a year ago for doing that because that's what happened. They said no, we're just not going to play anyone, and then Edmonton just rolled them for the rest of the series. You can't do that and get away with it for very long. So I have my concerns about the depth, like really, really wearing down this team,
especially not against a team who's only played 8 games this postseason.
And they're going to roll every line.
They are going to run them into the ground.
Yeah. I think, I mean,
Carolina 4-1.
We'll see if
Carolina
they can make it interesting. But I do
plus
agree.
320 plus 360.
I think 5 and 6 games is a safe way to go. And that 4-2, 4-1 looks pretty good as well. Like you said, I feel like this is a stepping stone for Montreal going forward. If I'm a fan of Montreal, I'm excited for this team for their future. Period. But
they're a damn good hockey team. They're a damn good hockey team.
Too much of a cakewalk. It's been too much of a cakewalk for Carolina getting to this point that I think everything stacks against Montreal in this series, and it's just going to be too difficult.
You have to get some luck in the postseason, and right now the cards are heavily stacked against them.
Yeah.
All right. So once more, we like the 5 games, which is for the series futures, 5 games, which is plus 230, 6 games, which is 2-1. And then kind of if you want to get more aggressive, I like Carolina Hurricanes correct series score 4-1 at plus 320, and Carolina Hurricanes 4-2 correct series score at plus 360. All right, moving on to the West here. We got game 1 tonight, but let's get into some series props before that. Kind of a similar situation, but not to the extreme as in the East, right? Colorado obviously has the rest advantage here. But there is that major injury to Makar. Like, Malinsky has struggled in the postseason in terms of injury issues. Vegas, Stone continues to kind of be questionable for tonight, game 1. Injuries on both sides. At minus 250, are you willing to lay that for Colorado?
I'm going to kind of do what you did in the other series. To me, when I look at these two teams, I feel like this is almost an even more unfair matchup, which kind of seems weird because I feel like Montreal has that wild card factor, like I said, where with the speed and whatever, they could kind of maybe shock a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
There's no shock coming from Vegas to me. I look at this team, I look at the depth of what they have, and it's just not what we're used to seeing from VGK, right? We're so used to them finding the loopholes and being able to carry all this like insane depth into the playoffs, where you look at them top to bottom and it doesn't seem fair. It's not the case anymore.
No. Getting Carlson back has been huge.
Yeah, but still, I mean, even with him, the depth doesn't look great. I mean, down the middle, they look okay, but compared to Colorado down the middle is just stupid and unfair when you have Nick Waugh and Jack Drury as like your 4th line guys, basically. Yeah. It's not even right. And then on the wings, I'm like seriously worried about this VGK side, especially with Stone out. And even if Stone comes back, like, what is he going to bring against this Colorado team with so much speed that they have? Like, he's going to have his moments, I think, but is he going to just be hampered as well? Like, he could come back and just look like crap. You add him back to the lineup and you just are expecting him to be normal. I don't think that's going to be the case, but I mean, they're relying on Brett Howden to play like meaningful minutes, and he's been great this playoffs.
Yeah.
But it's been great against Utah and Anaheim. This is not the same thing here.
No.
So I feel like they've kind of had a path similar to what Carolina has against like teams that are kind of outmatched in a way, like as far as experience versus youth. And, they dealt with the two teams that they faced in Utah and the Ducks. But man, now
this is their first team with playoff experience test.
Yeah. I just don't think. I think both those teams kind of played them fairly well the first 3 to 4 games of the series, and then it kind of just fell apart, and Vegas was able to slow it down. I don't see how they're going to do that against Colorado. I think they're very fortunate to win the games they did early in the series, in both of those series for that matter. Because we could have seen them eliminated in either of those rounds, and they got through, just by taking care of business with their experience. But I don't know.
Yeah, if they played Dallas or Minnesota in that first round,
yeah, they'd be done.
They'd
be done.
So
I even think Edmonton would have pushed them. Honestly. And Edmonton is questionable as hell coming in this playoffs. So I just look at the lines, and this team just doesn't feel as good as I'm used to seeing. I mean, you're talking about Sissons and Saad and Keegan Kolesar and Cole Smith. What are you getting from the bottom 6?
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, that kind of leads us into our predictions, but Colorado 4-1 at plus 350 and Colorado 4-2 at plus 360. Again, same kind of like the move. Maybe Vegas is able to squeak out 2 wins. I don't see them getting swept. But I think that's kind of the same sort of logic. I think these series, there's a heavy favorite for a reason.
Yeah. And obviously anything can happen. It always can. This is sports, and this is why we love watching them. But at the end of the day, as boring as it sounds, I just don't see these two underdogs winning these series. I feel like I've watched enough hockey in my life that you just don't see it. Over the course of a 7-game series, it's really difficult to get over that hump.
Again, and getting 2 bets at over 3-1, I think, on either side of a heavy favorite, I think it's a pretty good look, right? I don't think either series is going to be swept. So you're getting some insurance on the underdog winning 1, if not 2 games. I don't see either of these series going 7 either. So I feel like that's kind of the sweet spot right there. Any other futures before we get into game 1 tonight of this series? Did I lose you, Franco?
We're losing you again.
No. You got me now or no?
Yeah, I got you.
All right. Perfect. All right, game 1 tonight.
A little wonky, but
yeah, a little wonky. That's kind of the theme of today. Sometimes the internet's great, sometimes the internet's terrible. Luckily, moving soon, so hopefully that should change. Colorado minus 166 tonight. Vegas plus 150.
Tell them to get their crap together.
Yep. I'll let you start here. Any thoughts on game 1 tonight?
The reaction, the late in the reaction today, and then a little bit there.
I got you now, I think.
Now it's just me. We finally lost Gator. All right, let's start talking about tonight. So, right, there he is. Let's see if we can add him back here. Are you alive, Gator?
Got me now?
Yes.
I think so, yes. All right, game 1. What are you thinking here before the internet craps out again?
Just explodes. I mean, again,
No. Hang on.
Uh-oh.
Mr. International's here.
Man. There he is. Let's go.
Yeah.
I think you have Wi-Fi in Mexico than I do in Boston right now.
Yeah, he's coming in clearer than you are right now, Gear.
I know, yeah. Don't mess around. It's what 300 pesos gets you.
Damn right.
Oh yeah, I'm in my penthouse.
That's a nice view you got there, buddy.
Isn't it? 11th floor.
Oh,
We just
fancy.
got it. So
Nice.
yeah.
Well, we just got done
BGK
talking about
winning.
how neither of these underdogs have a chance in this series. In either of these series, tell us
I
why
don't
you
know,
think
man.
Vegas is going to give Colorado a run for their money.
So Makar is missing game 1 for sure, right? Nothing changed. What happens if
Yep.
this starts rolling into game 2 and game 3? I mean, and what if they can solve the wooden goaltenders? I feel like Scott Wedgwood has obviously been incredible this season, but I just feel like it's just a matter of time before somebody chops that wood down, you know? I don't think it's likely, but I do think if there's one upset, and if there was one upset coming out of the West to get past Colorado, it's Vegas. And we did that play in round 1 that failed spectacularly with Slafkovsky Conn Smythe after his Hattie night, which is unfortunate. He slowed down because, I mean, if that went on to a miracle run, never know. But if you have any bets on Colorado to win the cup, wouldn't it a good hedge be Marner for Conn Smythe at this point?
Yes, but I would argue I don't think Vegas can beat Carolina.
Ooh, man. Yeah, in a weird way, I almost feel like
that's where I have
Vegas
trouble
may
with
have a harder time with Carolina.
So, I mean, you would just wait for taking Carolina would be the underdog in that series versus Colorado. You just hedge it then in the Stanley Cup Finals. You wouldn't have to take one beforehand.
So
You'd lose on a little bit of value.
I'm holding a McKinnon Conn Smythe ticket. So essentially, I have Colorado to win the cup.
Yeah.
Right. So I have considered the Marner look, especially at the price. It's like plus 1,200. But I just worry that they're going to give it to Freddie if Carolina wins the series, if it's Carolina and Vegas. Like Marner would, I don't even think if it went to 7 games and Marner continued his pace, like would they do what they did with McDavid, where you give it to the losing team?
Well,
that's
Montreal is able to light Freddie up a little bit this series. Like, what if he just goes back down to like allowing 2 to 3 goals a night, but they still are winning like 4-3, 4-2?
Yeah.
But does Stankoven take over then at that point for Carolina?
Yes.
It's just tough. Like I don't know that like I don't know if Marner can win it if Vegas loses in the cup is my main thought. Whether it's Freddie or Stankoven, like
agreed. I mean, it's just
why
better
wouldn't you
ways
just take Carolina? Like, don't worry about the Conn Smythe. Just take Carolina straight up to win the cup, and then you have at least some profit
price?
Guaranteed.
Yeah,
like +1.
Yeah,
maybe 2 to 1. 2 to 1.
Yes,
yeah. If you have a Colorado or McKinnon ticket for Conn Smythe, then you could hedge with Carolina and then do a mega hedge with Marner.
Yeah, I got McKinnon.
I don't think anybody's on Montreal, right?
Or do one hedge with just straight up Carolina, and then maybe sprinkle on either Freddie or Stankoven, who's ever the longer shot to win the Conn Smythe as well, right?
Yeah.
Like you could do it that way as well. So, I mean, I wouldn't take anything before maybe the Stanley Cup, or if you really want to get crazy with it, you take Carolina now and then wait for the Conn Smythe when there's maybe a little bit of a clearer path moving forward when they make it to the Stanley Cup, or if they do.
Yeah.
So
yeah, at this point, I wouldn't be worried about like Shevnikov or like Aho having an incredible next 2 series, and
they would
they
have
don't
to go crazy
because we learned this last year when Marchand all of a sudden went nuclear and the last 2 rounds, but they still gave it to Bennett. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are we not considering Taylor Hall?
Oh man.
Potentially.
That would be incredible. Taylor Hall winning the Conn Smythe.
Hall and Stank are pretty close, I feel like, as far as like that second tier.
Stanky Hall.
Freddie.
Stank has more goals, though.
Yeah.
True. All right, I guess we'll get to game one. Any plays from you tonight, Franco? Betsky, our futures were Carolina to win 4-1. I think at like 230. Carolina to win the series 4-2 at like plus 260. And then same thing with Colorado, but both were plus 320 and then plus 360. Colorado to win the series 4-1. Colorado to win the series 4-2. So that's kind of what we were thinking as well. Any plays for tonight? I guess we'll start with you, Betsky, out in Mexico City.
I have not been able to look at too much, but I did look at the Malinsky shot prop, and I think that is a very solid look tonight. You could even go and get 3 shots in the point for probably close to plus 200, right?
Yeah, I think his shots are around minus 110. Should be more than that. I have a weird one tonight, but Franco, I'll start with you. Earl, I'll go to you. What do you have in game one?
Did Malinsky's shots really go down that much? Holy crap. I got or plus 130 this morning. So that means it's definitely going to lose about like 1,000% because whenever I get CLV, I just get absolutely cooked. So can't wait for that. But yeah, I mean, I like the Malinsky look a lot, especially at 2 as a parlay piece. I know we're going to cook up something a little bit. Brent Burns at 2 looks fantastic also as a parlay piece. Both guys without Makar in the lineup just fire more puck. I know that Vegas isn't necessarily the best matchup for shots for defensemen, but I think you kind of start to throw that type of stuff out when it's the playoffs.
Well, yeah, and
when
Carlson didn't have any problem getting his 1.5 line through that entire Duck series. I know Lacombe dropped off, but he wasn't top power play unit. And Uyghur was shooting a lot in round 1. Sergachev wasn't. So I guess you're looking at right Ds. So maybe they're good at the lefties.
That's interesting. I didn't even think about that, but
yeah,
makes sense.
I know everyone's focused on Malinsky, but any thoughts on Taze?
I don't trust the role enough. I'd rather go with the guy who's proven it a little bit during the regular season, who's on the top power play unit and on the right side.
But is Taves getting bumped up to that first power play unit? I think if I open Daily Face-Off right now, my computer would just combust. So
no,
I'm not going to do that.
Malinsky has been.
He's on the
top power play.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I really like the Malinsky look in general. Like he just gets so much more time with Makar, important minutes, should I say, with Makar out.
I have an interesting one. I think this bet first started around the Olympics. Colorado Avalanche shots on goal spread minus 5.5. Vegas, I think, has been one of the worst teams for shots, especially the last 2 games, too. They gave up 35 plus, I believe, to Anaheim. Colorado has been shooting a ton. I think they're second or first this postseason. Minus 122 on the Blue Book. Colorado to basically finish the game with 6 more shots than Vegas. I think they do it with ease. I think Colorado completely outshoots Vegas in this game, maybe by 10, but at 5.5, I think it's a great bet.
Yeah, that's great.
I like that.
Which leads me into my second one that I'm debating right now. How much do you trust Carter Hart? His saves line set at 27.5 tonight, which seems a little low.
Let me watch a game.
Okay. All right.
But oh man, I don't know. Actually, is tonight the night to go for it with Makar out?
27.5. Colorado's pretty much averaged 32, 33 this entire postseason. Maybe more. Vegas is giving up around 28. It's right there.
It's tough.
I don't hate it.
Because when is that going to
it's
break?
It's a tempting line.
Is Carter Hart
good?
Are we willing to accept that Carter Hart is back to being a good goaltender?
He's probably the best goaltender as far as historical performance goes left.
No, not better than
Maybe
Freddie.
Anderson?
I hate Freddie, but I don't hate him that much.
Yeah.
Freddie's had more of an up and down throughout his career than Hart, though. Hart's just,
How many good seasons did Hart really have, though? I get that Philly's D was awful for a lot of those seasons, but
that I cannot remember. That I was hoping you would know.
I would say it was I would say it was probably like one like truly good season. Like
really?
truly
Okay,
good,
I was thinking
where you're like
maybe.
Yeah.
It was always the prospect of it, right? Like you always saw all the flashes. You're like, this guy is pretty good, but you can never tell how good he really was because they would just hang him out to dry constantly. So I don't know. It was always tough to gauge whether he was a good goaltender or not because Philly was just a train wreck during that time. So, but with that being said, Vegas's blue line isn't it's not as strong as it used to be. The top four is fine, but man, you got like Dylan Coughlin and Ben Hutton.
Yeah.
Are you going to play four?
They're not playing game 7.
And just are you
Well,
just
put it this way: that their top four beats Colorado tonight.
I guess. Yeah. It's not as big of a gap as it should be. But yes.
41-year-old Brent Burns.
Burns is playing line 3 though, or line 3. You got Kulak and Manson, Taves and Malinsky.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a blowout by any means.
Playoff
then for Vegas in terms of
it's a playoff ready. It's a playoff ready blue line to me.
Yeah.
All right. Any other plays for game 1?
I like Kadri
just stick
point.
with maybe a Brett Howden point, maybe.
Looks good.
McKinnon
at 4 shots.
Yeah, give me the line that's not going to be strapped to McKinnon all night. So give me that Marner line for sure.
Yeah.
Is it Marner, Howden,
Carlson?
Carlson, yeah, duh.
Yeah. Howden point plus 135. And Howden and Carlson are also tied together on that second power play unit. So if you're looking for a line stack, maybe you just go with those two. And if you want to add a Marner point, I'm sure he'll get it. But I don't hate taking that whole line as maybe getting the points tonight. So with that being said, we're talking a lot of points. The over is at 6.5 plus money.
No. Can't
So
do
we're
it.
expecting 6. We have to figure out who's going to get a point on 6 goals tonight. That's what we've limited ourselves to.
Well, Vegas is game 4.
We don't like the over,
6,
but we like 6 goals. Okay.
Vegas game 4, those 6. Do the math.
Didn't you say before in the group chat that your parlay piece was Colorado money line?
No, it was Vegas money line.
That's why I said
okay.
when he said that.
All right, because I was listening to Vsauce before, and Vsauce put in Colorado money line in their parlay tonight.
Well, only one will win.
Yeah, if we go.
You're not wrong about that. You're not wrong about
That's good logic right there.
that. A team has to win this game tonight.
Yes. And it's either got to go over or under.
Sports books hate to see it coming. Yeah, when they're like,
We're just gonna arm them to death.
No, I don't know. I think this is a little bit of a wait and see game. I don't want to touch Dorofeyev yet. He was slow to start in both series so far. He got his 3 goals in a row streak. So jump off of him now. Wait till it's game 3 or 4. Vegas second line. I like that Kadri line. And the problem with Colorado right now is I want to see which winger can exploit Vegas, because we've seen this in both series. Gunther wrecked them in terms of shots, and he had 5 points, I believe, and was just ripping on the power play. Ducks, Seneca late, and Cutter was kind of off and on. And then Carlson, I'm really thinking he was injured by the end of the last 2 games, because, man, he was getting like 4 shots a night, and then he dropped off to like 1. That being said, I don't know if I want to rush to McKinnon. It seems like your guy in the circle is been the way to exploit Vegas on the power play, or whoever you want to be setting up for one-timers. That seems like, I mean, both series you saw it. So it seems like they like to leave a little room and play up tight and on the PK.
Yeah, no, I think that all makes sense. Did you have a parlay piece for tonight? Getting into it?
I'll do the Malinsky shots. I'm fine with 3, or if you want to
do Malinsky at 3?
1.5.
Okay.
After ML pitching this, and what I'm getting at is I want to see if Landeskog is going to be that guy for Colorado that can get pucks past the Vegas defenseman on the power play, or if it's going to be who else is on that top one.
Natchez,
yes. I was getting stuck on Lehkonen, even though I knew he wasn't on it. Yes, I want to see if it's going to be Landy or Natchez.
I think it's going to be Landy. I love his point tonight for a parlay piece at -160.
That was the other one I wanted. So
Yep. I love Landeskog point.
But yeah, I don't want to dump on Colorado shots yet outside of Malinsky. And I do like Burns 1.5. I just want to see how these lines match up. I mean, Eichel's no joke when he gets hot.
But they're going to move
David.
McKinnon away from Eichel as much as possible.
Yeah.
With last change.
Yeah.
So
yeah, that's true.
I just looked at McKinnon's history versus Vegas this year. Have you looked at it? Their head-to-head?
It's like 95% here, right?
Yeah, and then if you go to home, we're talking 8, 6, 7, 10, 6, 6.
All right. Yeah.
So home games in particular, he hasn't gone below 6 shots on goal.
So are we taking it at 4 or 5?
5.
I think you take it at 4, or okay, we could do 5 too. I was gonna say take it 4 to be safe, but we could do 5.
You can do 4 if you want, but I don't even know where I'm going to be placing this. So
You're gonna have to run. It's like in Europe, like where they have the betting shops. I think like on the street, and you have to go up and like write out your slip. Like,
There you go.
if you would ask about shots, shots on goal too. That'd be incredible. Trying to go place a bet.
I got the pesos right here, boys.
There you go. You gotta figure out how that
That would be a
translates.
great video of going up to like a betting kiosk in Mexico and asking about Sammy and Malinsky shots on goal, and just them just being like, "What are you talking about?" Like, no,
Come on, dude. They watch soccer. They watch soccer everywhere in the rest of the world. They know all about shots on target.
yeah, agree. But I'm
Shots
saying
on target.
like, yeah,
True,
but if you
we
were
need a
to
better
talk
name.
about Sammy Malinsky,
Yeah, we need a better name that they will just blow their mind. I don't know if these teams have one. We needed like Heiskanen.
Yeah.
Dorofeyev, yeah,
Oh, yeah, Dorofeyev's pretty good.
yeah. Franco, what are you looking at? So we have Malinsky at. Are we doing Malinsky at 3 or no? We're doing McKinnon at 4 or 5.
I like Malinsky at-
McKinnon 5.
Malinsky at 3.
Landeskog point, and Malinsky at 3. Okay.
Landy point, and then Vegas money line. Boom.
I mean, that reverse correlation would be insane.
Oh, that would be.
What about hard
right.
saves?
I don't think it would add much to it because we have 2 shots props in there.
So Belinsky at 3,
I
and then
think
McKinnon
if
at
you add
5.
that, they're just going to be like, yeah, whatever, dude. We'll give you another
Yeah.
plus 50.
It's plus 435 right now without the boost, so should be around 6-1. I like it. Three legs. Keep it simple tonight.
All right,
Yeah,
fair.
three. Keep it simple for game 1. We'll get crazy next week. We have Landeskog 1+ point, Nathan McKinnon 5+ shots on goal, and Sammy Malinsky 3+ shots on goal.
Sweet.
Easy enough.
All right. Well, I gotta go find
Before
my.
we go, I got one more. I got one more dumb play for you guys. I got one more dumb play for you guys before we go. Braden McNabb. This is a parlay piece. Braden McNabb under 1.5 shots on goal. Just look at the chart, baby. Okay. One time in 12 games against them.
Do you want to add it to the parlay?
We know this guy is not shooting. I don't want to do it because I don't want it to be the thing that sends us away.
The glaringly,
especially if it goes to overtime or something stupid.
Yeah.
But man, I love McNabb under shots. I cashed it a bunch the last round. You're gonna keep offering it to me. I'm gonna keep betting it in parlays.
Yeah.
Nice. I like that.
Perfect.
So yeah, you could do his under in the Vegas money line for some good odds.
Very true.
Well, no. What you do if you don't want to do that is you add it with like Marner point, and I bet you it would be real nice. Something stupid, easy.
Carter Hart saves.
All right, I gotta try to punch this into Prize Picks, or I gotta go find mi amigo bookie.
All right, Betsky, thanks for tuning in from Mexico City. All right, I think that wraps up our show for today. I'm Gator Betting. That's Franco the Banker. That's International Betsky over there as well. And we will talk to you guys next week. You can follow us on Twitter for our parlay as well. So be sure to go check us out there. All right, see ya.
What you know about rolling down in the deep? Down in the deep. Now I know we all be loving this shit right here. Rolling. What you gonna do? Rolling. What you gonna do? Down in the rolling. What you gonna do? Right, y'all be loving this shit. What you know about